Last week, the chief of Hawaii's electric utilities proclaimed Maui the state's leader in developing renewable energy. This week, a major step was taken in that direction. MauiTV News reporter Jeff King takes us to a South Maui rooftop where the view is overpowered by the power from above.
After last week's proclamation by Hawaiian Electric CEO Mike May that Maui was at the forefront of renewable energy, it was projects like this he was referring to.
On the order of 60 kW. There's two systems here. One of them powers the tenant space for MEDB, the Maui Economic Development Board, and the other one is net metered for our common areas, for the street lights and all the common area electricity.
Walter Enomoto and his crew installed the impressive systems and takes us through Photovoltaic Power 101.
They collect light energy and convert that to DC electricity. And that DC electricity is then sent down to a component called the inverter. And that converts the DC electricity, which is like your batteries and things, into AC, alternating current, which is what all homes and businesses and the grid is based on. And that provides, or that creates the energy that is either used at MEDB, or if there's an excess of energy being produced, it goes out into the grid and spins the meter backwards and helps to stabilize the grid and helps to lower MEDB's bills.
And yes, the meter does run backwards, although the digital equivalent is that little arrow that points away from the money-making part of the meter. That's called net metering. Whatever energy credit, if you will, that MEDB gets for power they generate but someone else uses gets applied for when they need it, like powering streetlights at night or on cloudy days. The array takes up a large part of the roof over the MEDB center, but not all of it. They didn't need to.
We designed the number of panels that were needed based on the electrical history that MEDB, both their office account and their house account, how much energy they've used in the past, and by doing that we were able to size the system to offset a good majority of their energy use on an average annual basis.
This impressive array used to be just a dream, one that actually started coming true.
It's been over a year ago. We'd actually thought about putting solar on this building several years ago when it was in the early design stages, but the financial products that would allow us to do that weren't available at that time.
Translation, too expensive. It would cost about $500,000 to build something like this from scratch. Enter Mill Valley, California-based Solar Power Partners, who brokered the deal. There are tax credits available to Hawaii investors for deals like this, and thus is born a power purchase agreement.
So we pool investors that are looking to take advantage of those tax credits. They provide the funding for the project. We develop the project in partnership with Provision in this case and our host customer MEDB. Once the project is developed, we then have ultimate responsibility to monitor the system, to make sure it's maintained properly, to bill for the power to MEDB, and also to satisfy the needs of the investors by providing them not only with the tax credits that they deserve, but also with the returns that they're looking for out of the energy sales.
So the agreement actually owns the system. They lease the space from MEDB, then sell the electricity to them to help pay for it all. Who would have guessed 15 years ago how much electricity would cost today? But this arrangement takes the guesswork out of budget planning way down the road.
We're able to predict what our electricity costs are going to be for 15 years out.
It's futuristic and it works, but it's still a little cumbersome in terms of the size of the system and how much juice you get out of it. In geek speak, they call that energy efficiency.
And those efficiencies right now, anywhere from the 17–18% range for a complete module. Research into the high-tech modules that they use in the space station, they're up in the low to mid 20% range.
This space is ideal. Wide, flat, the angles of the panels are oriented to the southern sun exposure, and it's hurricane-proof. This entire elaborate array can withstand hurricane-force winds, but get this, there's not one nail or screw holding it down.
What it is they are all interconnected side to side and front to rear, and they use a ballast as well as the design of the deflectors that are on the north, east, and west sides help to keep wind from getting underneath that. The ballast creates enough weight to hold this array. They've both seismically tested this design as well as wind tested this design, and we've provided documentation to the county, and they've accepted and signed off on that.
This impressive setup is elaborate and puts out 60 kilowatts, but that's still only about 20% of what the whole building uses. But that's something along the lines of 110,000 barrels of oil that won't be burned to keep the juices flowing for MEDB. Reporting from Kihei for MauiTV News, I'm Jeff King.
To learn more about turning the sun's rays into electricity at your house, follow the links from our website at MauiTVnews.com.